early access. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you I was starting.
That's fine.
uh, today they just released the early access to the our early access to the early access build, the Chimera build. So far, we messed around a little bit on it, but there are some bugs, and they already know about them, and they're actively working on them. But it makes it so we can't actually, if we go over here, we can't actually go into our guild campaign board right now. As you can see here, it says before anyone can continue playing this campaign, it needs to be upgraded to the newest Chimera board. Currently, if you try to upgrade one of your other ones, it just crashes the game. Mainly because they changed the clipping mechanics, and if you use clipping in your board previously, it messes with it. They're working on a fix. Hopefully, it's fixed by Sunday, so we can actually play on Sunday. But we're still going to show you guys some of the new stuff, and we're going to go over some of the other features that they've added and some of the changes. So we made a Chimera test build. Carl, you in the Chimera test build already?
I'm loading it in now.
Okay. So we've just been messing around, seeing some of the new features and stuff. The biggest thing for us, for people who haven't played it yet, obviously it's not that big of a deal because you guys don't know the controls and everything yet.
Hey.
But they changed some of the control keys.
And guess what? I loaded it in and it crashed. I think I'm.
Oh, failed to fetch board.
Yes.
Oh no, I got some of it.
Yeah, I got to that point, and then.
Oh.
Yeah. We're having the same problem
Talespire.
as another.
Yeah.
Guy that.
So So Talespire is just kind of not working right now.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to.
We can probably try to make another board real quick.
Yeah, let's try that real quick.
Okay. Just so we're not streaming and saying, "Hey, here's the new thing," and then not showing off anything.
Yeah. So we're going to try to create a new board just to show you guys some of the new features and stuff. It's really nice because you're actually able to place props where you want them and do everything like that. Do you want me to make a new one?
Sure.
All right. Testing part 2. Let's see if it loads in. So far, so good. Generating bytecode.
Yeah, you should be able to generate without showing it. Or
Yeah,
if you show it, it doesn't really matter. It's a test board.
There you go.
Alright.
So, if you guys have seen Talespire before, you probably already noticed that it looks a little bit different. The props and stuff all show up from the bottom now, and it's in a lot more user-friendly way. It tells you the sizes of the boards, which is really nice. And they have the creatures down here as well. Another thing that they added was the fact that you can make the things larger, so you can get a better view of what you're looking at. Or you can make them really small, so you can see more of it.
Could you give me DM privileges?
Oh, yeah. Players. GM mode, there you go. Sorry about that. A couple other features that they changed was how they actually split up everything. The actual tile sets are pretty much the same. They've removed some things out of it just to make it so they're in the props and in the correct areas and everything. But if you go over to the creatures, which is where they changed a lot of the stuff as well as the props, they added in like dragon folks, which just shows the dragon folk instead of splitting into heroes and NPCs and things like that. They split them into races, which is really useful when you're trying to find specific things.
Yeah.
Instead of just scrolling through a big list of all of them, you can just be like, I'm looking for a halfling. Here's the list of halflings that are currently in the game. Which is really nice. They also have like little tags, so if you're like looking for a commoner, they suggest this guy. Spellcasters, these ones. Warriors, these ones. So it's really, really useful in that aspect. Just to quickly go into it and find what you're looking for. And then they did the same kind of thing for props. And this is where the biggest change comes in, is how the props work. just to showcase how everything used to work, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go to the taverns. I'm gonna grab a wall. Um, it rotates 90 degrees. You can now hold Alt to do rotates, so you can rotate it freely and go back. And it's so if you don't have to cycle through it every time, which is pretty nice. And then instead of just holding Shift to move up and down, you hold Control and you can freely move it up and down.
Yeah, and along with the more freedom, when you're moving stuff up and down, it doesn't clip to a certain plane. If you're moving it up and down, you can just click and it stays right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it works the same for walls. I think we figured out that the blocks are still...
The blocks are still gridded.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is you can see when I move my mouse around, everything seems to like highlight. It's because if you wanted to move something, you can just click it and then move it. It's going to take some getting used to because a lot of times we would click over here to move the mouse or to move the screen, but now we have to worry about picking pieces up if we're in build mode.
Yeah.
They're making it really really apparent when you're in build mode because the characters are now like this and I can't actually interact with that character while in build mode. So you really want to make sure you're swapping between build mode and the normal ones now. One thing that I didn't know that they were adding, Kyle, do you want to throw up a character real quick?
Oh yeah.
That makes a little bit more sense. Let's go. Let me throw up this guy. All right. So one, there's a chat now, and your character actually says it in a little chat bubble, which is pretty cool. Another thing that they added, one thing that we didn't use enough before, Kyle, do you want to go ahead and hit me with a normal attack?
Normal attack.
This feature, where you can choose to attack somebody. They've recently added in this feature, which is just a really cool animation, especially when you think about, or when you figure out that the pattern that it does for the magic missile isn't the same every time.
Yeah, and it's just really cool that they put variation for now fighters and spellcasters.
So I'm really excited to see what other kinds of things that they do. Are they going to do an animation for Fireball? Are you going to be able to do a lot of things like that? I'm not sure if they're going to, but I'm really excited to see if they will and what else they do.
Yeah, I don't know if they're working on it anymore, but I remember a while ago they were working on like explosion animations and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see what
they did do a little showcase of that.
Yeah.
So just little things like that. The animation for that magic missile and the little sound effect is just really nice.
Yeah.
Now for one of the biggest things that they did is the props. Kyle already did a little bit over here. As you can see, this table isn't on a 90-degree plane. You can grab any prop. So if I come over here to food and drinks and I wanted to add a little basket of food on here, I could freely put this anywhere on the table, and then I could easily rotate it in a lot more degrees. So I can add two right next to each other like that. So we can start making our world feel way more alive.
Ooh, and something I didn't realize before is if you shift to move it on a plane, and you can still do like Alt and Control.
Oh, nice.
So that's just a lot more movement options.
We just have so many more things. We can make a feast look like it's actually like well stocked tables, and we can add this little baguette to this table. They added a baguette, I guess. I didn't know that there was a baguette.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we had noticed. Just there were some props that were
built into
other props. Like there was a table with some of these food items on it, and now they've given us access to all of those individually.
Great example is this cup. We couldn't place this cup before, but it was on a preset table. Now we can just add this cup to things.
Yeah.
Because the only cup that we had was actually the pitcher. But um, so they've added a bunch of stuff like that, and I'm really glad that they did. A really cool feature that they added with this is if you hold control, you can freely change the height of the item, and you can place it however you want on this. You don't have to follow the grid with the props. So if I wanted to put it right here, I could put it right there. So it just opens up so much freedom when placing these. To expand a little bit of what Kyle was saying before is one of the wall presets. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Like this one. This wall preset has a lantern on a hook, has a little shelf with some cups, and has like a broom. I can now come into here, and I can grab one of those shelves, or I can go over here to lights, and I can actually use this lantern. And then, pretty sure if I hold X, it'll snap onto the wall. So if I wanted it to stay on the wall, it will. So I can now add that lantern, which wasn't a feature that we could use before, which is just really nice that we can now use that. They also added in a couple like wall torches and stuff like that, which is just really, really cool. I don't remember this jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, they added some new things without telling us, so that's really cool that they just
threw some stuff in there as
yeah.
well. But then they also added some stuff like this, Kyle. I don't know if you looked at this one. This is on the water fountain. But I can now just be like, yo, I want this on the side of my building.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I can just add stuff like that now. But if you look at the water fountain, it's there, except for on the water fountains, it's actually vertical. I didn't notice that before.
Oh, that's cool.
They've just done a lot of stuff like that, such as the fish that are on the harbor. You can now go over to nature, scroll over, and just be like, "Yep, I want to use that fish, but I don't want him to be on a hook. I just want him to be in a pond somewhere." You can now give him a life. And then some various other things, like the raven that was on the tombstone. I can now add this little raven to my table. But I really like the fact that I can position it so he's actually connected to the table and standing on it rather than floating just like a couple inches above it. Anything that you can think of, Kyle, that I'm missing right now?
The only thing I can think of is they added a few things just to make the DM's life a little bit easier. One of them being if I click on this character and then press Y, or no, F, that automatically puts them in fly mode.
You're supposed to be able to automatically hide them as well, but that one doesn't seem to be working right now.
Yeah. And like we said before, like we're getting this 2 weeks early just so that we can test all of this out.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. It's a lot that we're gonna have to get used to, but I'm really happy with this.
It's gonna just being able to manipulate the props.
The props is definitely the biggest thing. It's gonna make our builds just look way more natural and just better.
Yeah. They do have some props that are broken. I don't know if they know this already or not, but there's some like furniture. If we scroll over here, it shows that this like stool is knocked down. It's not actually knocked down, but like this table is flipped over. This chair is not knocked down. This table's not flipped over. This table's not flipped over. So they have some correctly orientated as they should be, but not all of them. And it's not just that is messed up, because they also have the stools and the chairs in other places. But then we also get like empty bookshelf, which I think is just a really cool addition.
Yeah, because I know for a fact that I've placed bookshelves and things down and not wanted them to be completely full of books.
Exactly.
So that's going to be really cool.
And now we could fill them with a little bit of things.
Yeah.
How many books did they add? Any books?
That's what I'm looking up now. It looks like they still just have the piles, but you can put with like the new clipping and stuff.
Yeah, so I can come right here and I can go, you know what, right about there. I'm gonna angle it so it's this way, and now drag that up, move it in, bam,
And then I can put those right there.
bam, bookshelf.
So that's awesome.
Say you just like this bookshelf didn't have a whole lot. He was just kind of like chilling. There was just one little book up there.
Yeah, like
the amount of freedom and creativity that we're gonna be able to put into some of our builds and boards and stuff is gonna be so much better.
Another thing is the dice rolling and like the history.
Yeah, so you know that both Kyle and I chatted. We can now come up here and see what the chat said. It says who said it. It'll say it based off of your character's name, not the player. So and also they did make the dice feel a little bit heavier, so they shouldn't roll for as long if you throw them. But then it makes it so, like, I rolled this. You can easily tell which dice you threw, what your numbers were, so you don't have to look through a tiny text box to try to find out what it is.
Before it was just text, and it did say, like, you know, someone rolled a D20,
D8,
but yeah.
This, a D, yeah.
But
now,
you had to... Yeah, now it's showing the actual picture of the dice, and it's just very easy to tell, like, hey, you rolled a D10, and you were supposed to roll a D6 or whatever.
Yeah. Another thing that they... I don't know if this was in the game previously or not, because we never really messed around with the photo mode. But you can go into photo mode and change a lot of things. But a couple really cool features about this is you can actually make it so you're looking up. So if you wanted to get some really cool shots, you can actually like come in and look at my character looking at him flying, which is just like cool. So far there's nothing more you can do with this besides just get a view, but it's still really cool that they're doing this. So I'm really hoping when they update the cutscene mode, where you can grab shots and build your own cutscene, that you can utilize that. Because if you could, those two things together, we can make little cutscenes. So when something happens, you can pull everybody's attention, players in the game included, and watch a little cutscene.
Yeah, and that would be really cool to introduce a villain or something, and it really pulls the player's attention.
Yeah, because we could, the DM could set all that up beforehand. So it takes the pictures, but the pictures still change based off of characters' positions and stuff. So if he sets it all beforehand, you know, when the characters walk through this door, I'm going to play this cutscene. Even though he set it up without the characters there, the characters will be in the cutscene. Based off of where they're at, what direction they're looking, if their torch is on. It'll take all those into effect, and it'll just move the camera to those positions. If you can utilize that with the photo mode, I think that would be really cool.
A couple more things that they've added to this is just since a lot of people are going to be now starting playing this game, they added a tutorial on the top left right under boards, and it'll just tell you the basic movement, creature controls, building, playing, GM tools, GM overlay, and then a couple other things.
Where is that?
Along with like boards, there's tutorials, and then the campaign board settings, atmosphere, players.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so it's just cool that like you click on one.
Oh, and it has videos.
Yeah, and it'll give you a short video and try to give you some controls of what does what. And really like it says, tutorials are not final. This is brand new and they're just starting out. So, but I think that's a really cool addition.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They made all the not all the keys, but they started adding key mapping, so you can start mapping it to your own buttons.
And something huge that I forgot to mention as well is board copying.
Oh yes.
Before, when you wanted to copy something, you had a limited area that you could copy.
Anything that fit within the selection box, which was from the edge of what we've built.
Yeah, it's a pretty large area where you could copy buildings and structures and things like that, but it was a little small to copy entire boards. So when people would post their boards online or something, they would either have to make a smaller board or post it in sections, which would make it kind of weird to paste in.
Especially if they have any clipping things
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, where
But now they just let you copy the entire board.
we can come up here, we can go to publish copy, and you have to be the creator of that campaign to be able to publish copy. But you go to the board section, you'd go over here, publish copy of current board, and it would copy this board. And then you would just paste that into any web browser, and it will transfer it to your current campaign.
Yeah, I
So
haven't played around with it, but I do think you have to have Talespire open, and then you paste it into a web browser, and then it says, "Do you want to copy this to this board or whatever?"
Yeah, so I'll do it real quick. I'll take a copy of this, copy that. If I come over here and I paste this and I press enter, it'll say a website wants to open this application. Open Talespire, and then this comes up in Talespire. Would you like to import the board into your campaign? If you say yes, and then you go back over to boards, I now have a copy of it. So, say somebody has a map that you're like, oh, that is really cool, and then they're willing to give other people access to it. They can publish that board, and anybody who has Talespire can just copy that link and load that board into their game. So if somebody builds a really cool map, they can just be like, hey, here's this map. If anybody else wants to play it, here you go.
Yeah. So super exciting stuff. I'm really excited to see if I've missed anything or just getting into updating my own boards. Is there anything else that you can think of just off the top of your head?
Not that I have found so far. We haven't actually played with it yet, so I don't know if anything has changed on that side of things. But
yeah, so then if there's nothing else, they did say that they're gonna do a couple things in the next few weeks. They're obviously first and foremost trying to fix all the bugs that they've been finding.
They have ensured everybody that they know about the bug, they're actively working on it, and our boards are not lost currently. Also, I noticed that there's no... It starts off as default for no music.
Yeah.
That's I just noticed that. I'm like, why is it so quiet?
Yeah. I normally like adding music and stuff to all my boards.
Even if it's just quiet in the background. There we go. Give us some Talespire sounds.
But the things that they have said that they're going to do in the next few weeks is they want to add party line of sight, which would be really cool. Experimental fog of war. They want to push out those final tutorials. Like I said, those tutorials that they have right now are they're just testing them out to see if they actually do help. And then they want a final help bar. So just some final tweaking, and then also that line of sight in Fog of War is going to be huge once they get that out.
I don't know how much they've updated or given information about the water update.
Yeah, I haven't heard much of that for a while.
For whatever reason, me clicking once moves my screen right now instead of double clicking.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Earlier today we were testing this out, and I needed to click twice, but now it's only once. So
I think I'm just gonna change it back to right click.
Yeah, I have it as right click.
Oh. After I changed it, it's now double click.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything that I know of.
Yeah, this is everything that we've noticed so far in our couple hours of playtesting beforehand. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do our full revamp of Broken Wheel today, simply due to the fact we can't access Broken Wheel. As I said in the beginning, they know about it. Hopefully they fix it before Sunday so we can actually play on our campaign. Whenever they do get it fixed and we're able to start doing it, we'll probably try to find a time where we can do a build day.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for joining us for our recap of Talespire's update. Next couple weeks, they should have it early access for everybody to be able to play. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with and what happens with Talespire.
All right. See ya.
Have a good week, you guys. Bye.